Welcome to the Bull and Bear Show. I'm your host, Richard D'Souza, and I'm here with my co-hosts, King Earl, Shady, and Blaze. How you guys doing today?
Doing well,
Great.
doing well.
Doing good, man.
Great,
Hopefully
thanks.
everyone is feeling festive, and we are in the holiday spirits. Want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, everyone that's watching all over the world. And our first topic we're going to talk about is the Fed news of rates, interest rate cuts ahead of 2024 ignites market. So in 2024, it's been a year of rate hikes. All year, Fed's been raising rates so that they can slow down inflation. And this is kind of signaling that they've got inflation under control. So my question to you guys, I'm going to start with you, Earl, is are we going to have 3 rate hikes next year? Because that's what the Fed is saying is possible. And if that happens, I believe that that is going to be very, very bullish for the markets next year. What do you think, Earl?
For rate hikes or rate cuts?
Rate cuts.
Okay, you said hikes. So,
Sorry, I'm so used to rate hikes because that's all we've had. So the idea of a rate cut is kind of like, it
Yeah, I was
doesn't even
gonna
make
say,
sense in my brain, you know?
Hey, Earl, how are you going to answer that?
yeah. Well, I do feel that we could have the potential to actually cut, but I mean, it all comes down to the fact that the number is going to be skewed due to Christmas, New Year. Then we're going to have the halving of Bitcoin. But, we're looking at mid-May before we even get the first cut. And then, from there, I mean, every 3 months we're going to trade actual cuts. So every 4 months after that, we're going to swap down to lower cut rates. I mean, it could be bullish because, there's $6 trillion sitting on the market on the sideline waiting to be invested while people are losing money by just holding cash of 4.79%, down this year. So, it's just waiting to be invested. And as long as rates are up, then it's going to continue to sit there. But if they start to see that it's coming down, they're going to invest it. So it's going to be very bullish for the market.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very bullish for the market. And I think that 2024 is going to be a wonderful year. Shady, what do you think about this? Is the Fed going to cut rates next year? And is that going to be bullish for the markets? And remember, next year is a election year, and typically, historically, election years have always been very bullish as well. So this is signaling, in my opinion, the beginning of a huge bullish market for next year. What do you think?
I think we're definitely going to see a lot of change for sure. I do agree with Earl. I don't think it's going to come to like the later half of the year. A lot can happen in between that time, but I think it's really good for the economy that it does go to a more bullish standpoint market. And I think that's what they're lining it up for.
Okay. What do you think in there, Blaze? Rate cuts, 2024. Is it bullish for the market? Will it happen?
I think it's going to happen for sure. The turnaround, election year, Bitcoin halving, everything's going to be good. So everything sounds positive for 2024. Let's hope it's what it's cut out to be. I think we're going to have it. Yeah, I think it's going to be a true happening, and also it is going to be great for the market. People are going to feel comfortable on spending, and I see a similar 24 to 21 here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a phenomenal year. And 2023 was kind of a good year in some ways, but tough year in some ways. The Magnificent Seven stocks did really well. Bitcoin's done really well. Gold's doing really well. The stock market is at all-time highs. So there's a lot of good things to look at, but the reality is people are struggling. Interest rates have gone up, so people are paying more for their mortgages, car loans, student loans, credit cards, lines of credit. Any debt that you had, you're now paying more. So it's tightening. It's making it tighter for people that are middle income and lower income. Typically, the rich are going to get richer. They're going to take advantage of these scenarios. But the people that are the middle income and the lower income, in my opinion, they're the ones that are hurting. So I believe that next year, this is very good for the markets, because if you're going to cut rates, that means that people are going to be paying less interest. So in my opinion, that will be really, really bullish for the markets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see it.
More money saved, more money to invest.
That's right. Now let's take a look at this next piece of news here. The Dow Jones surges 512 points to a record high above 37,000 as Powell signals rate cuts. So clearly the market responded, and Bitcoin also exploded the day that Powell signaled rate cuts. So my question to you guys is, the market is on fire. We just hit all-time highs in the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. Will this continue into 2024? Can the markets continue to stay this hot? Is it possible when we're already at all-time highs for the market to go even higher? What do you think, Earl?
Ooh, well, let me go ahead and give a reality dose. I mean, we're talking about the S&P 500. We got, 11 companies out of 500 actually doing well. I mean, I wouldn't call that a market return, you know. But past that, it's just got to trickle down. But, the only thing making money right now is diversification in major stocks and ones that give payout, And then, we're looking at the fact that there's major pumps in the markets, but it always comes a little way back down on a correction, which is good. Corrections are always good for the market, but we don't know where the true spot of the market is while money continues to sit on the sideline. So we really need the rate cuts, or, we need rate hikes where people will start investing money into treasuries and bonds for 10 years and take the money away from the commercial sector. But, we're looking at the fact that GM's having price cuts and are not price cuts, but they're firing 24% of their staff. So, I mean, there's still, bad things going on out there as far as the market. So I don't think we're quite ready for a return yet. And I don't think we're quite ready for the rate cuts yet. But, as far as him signaling it, I think they're just trying to soften the blow. But, I mean, it's the major cutback and the pain from it's going to be felt sooner than later. And once that actually starts happening, they might start cutting back. So,
yeah, it's crazy because as a pure investor who just looks at the markets very technically, my big thing is, how can this continue? We're already at all-time highs. Can it really continue? But then when you think about the fact that they're going to do rate cuts and there's an election year, I think it can continue. But the question is, how much higher can it really go? Probably not that much higher, maybe another 10%. Right? So that would take the Dow Jones to what, 40,000? So I think that's probably as high as it goes. But
yeah, I mean, 40,000, 44,000. I mean, that's where it's always traded back through the 90s and the early 2000s. So, I mean, there was a correction with a pullback of money and the overinflation of money. I mean, there's other money just soaked in assets that's not currently sitting in the market. But, and the government with all their loans, that isn't being paid out yet, just on the percentage rates. So, I mean, once all that gets handled, then we'll see the major pump again. But, we have to wait until the election, wait for a couple of other key factors to actually move along.
I agree 100%. Shady, what do you think about this?
I think honestly, I think the election is kind of tied to this too, because it is about to be election year, so we have to take that in consideration. I think that the market's going to remain steady right now, but I just don't see them doing any big moves. Like, whether they're going to make cuts or not, I don't think that they're going to be like big cuts. It's going to be small, significant building blocks to getting back to where we want to be. And it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I think so. I think they already announced that the rate cuts are going to be essentially like 0.25 basis points. So 3 rate cuts of 0.25 basis points will take us down 0.75 basis points. So if right now,
where were we before we started the hikes? Where were we? Like 5%?
No, we were at 0. The market was at like 0. It was like 0.5%.
Okay, so they cut back. They only cut back 0.25%.
So, okay, so let's just say they started 2 years ago at 0.5%.
No, I'm talking a year ago. I'm not talking about 2 years ago.
No, I'm even saying like a year ago, like when they started, they drastically increased the rates from like almost 0 to, let's say, where it is today, like about 5.5%. Okay. So what they're saying is they're going to reduce the rates now from like 5.5 to like 4.75. They're going to reduce it 0.75 basis points. So 3 rate cuts of 0.25 basis points each. That's what they're signaling, but it could change. Inflation might continue higher and they might have to keep hiking, or the market might continue to go down and the inflation might continue to go down. The economy might struggle and they might say, you know what, let's really cut rates aggressively so we can boost up the market. Plus, we have an election year, which is another reason why they're going to want the markets to do well, because the Democrats, why would they want the markets to crash during an election year? Because recently Biden's been laughing at Trump because Trump said that the markets would crash under Biden, but in reality, the markets are at all-time highs. So they haven't crashed under Biden. So that's a big thing for the Democrats when they're going into the election year. They want to make sure that the market and the economy isn't burning to the ground, because if it is, that's a huge feather in Trump's cap to say, hey, why would you want to vote Democrat and have another weak market? So there's a lot of reasons why I believe the market will go up. But the problem is the market's already up. So how much higher can it go? That's the problem that I have. I just don't know how much it can go.
Right.
So
You just said it hit ATH, right? So
yeah, it hit all-time highs.
markets are going to boom around Christmas anyways. And with the price of everything going up, I mean, people are willing to spend a little bit more money, you know what I mean? Because investments are going to go through the roof next year. I'm telling you. Everybody knows the Democrats do this. So people are going to start investing during, because they know it's going to rise. And then after they get in, if they win, boom, everybody sells and it falls right back down on its face. It happens every time and it's getting annoying. You know what I mean? So
100%.
yeah, we're not dumb. We know what they do. I mean, stop voting Democrat, you know?
Hey, Nash Cowboy, welcome from Vegas, buddy.
There's a lefty liberal. No, I'm kidding.
Hilarious when he says that. Nash Cowboy, what do you think about this? I don't know if you heard the question, but the stock market got to all-time highs this week in the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. Do you think that with the markets at all-time highs, with 3 rate cuts, meaning the rates are going to go lower next year, and with an election year, that the markets can continue to go higher than all-time highs next year? What do you think?
Let's go.
I think we're in for one hell of a fucking year. All right. And I think it's also planned this way. All right. Because I think the whole Biden administration is looking for another win and they're going to make the economy look great. And yeah, I think it's rigged, but I think there's a shit ton of money to be made. There was more millionaires made in 2021 than any other time in history because of the crypto market. And I feel like 2024 through 2025 is going to be even better.
All right. Well, I agree with you 100%. And I'm going to show you guys what I see here because I have some more evidence of this. Many are predicting that the markets are going to go to all-time highs next year. Check this out. So based on this article here, many are predicting right here, big banks, stock market bulls make a case for new highs in 2024. So Deutsche Bank is saying 5,100 in the S&P 500. BMO is saying 5,100 in the S&P 500. Bank of America is saying 5,000 in the S&P 500. And RBC Capital Markets is saying 5,000 in the S&P 500. And we're sitting at all-time highs at 4,700. So do you think that they are correct with their prediction? Earl?
I have a view that we can get there. Do I believe banks? No. I mean, they're the most corrupt things on the planet. That's why we like crypto, right? But, you know, if they're going to play around with the numbers and it's a soft landing and they're just investing their money to make the economy look good and they're only saving the economy by switching over to Venezuela oil rather than buying from Saudi, you know, it's going to help boost the market and stand it up as we have different countries continue to adopt the U.S. dollar, right? There's nothing really pumping the economy besides the money that's already in it. You know, there hasn't been a deflation of the dollar. It's still the amount of dollars in rotation, and the inflation on that dollar is just steadily going down, but it isn't even returned to anywhere where we can say there's a pump. But, you know, all that money has just been sitting on the sideline. And that's what we're seeing is sideline money coming in due to the COVID being over or from different organizations putting funding in other places. You know, we're looking at big hedge fund investors, you know, who might have lost their money. They put mom and pops out of business due to COVID. So you're looking at these bigger companies that are actually benefiting from it because the smaller people have no smaller companies to invest their money into. So it's going to make the economy look great, considering the fact that 30% of all mom and pop shops in the U.S. closed. And it's just going to make them look better. It doesn't mean they provide a better service or a better product. But as far as market standpoints, it's going to make it look good. And, we might hit it, but it's been nothing done by the Democrats that was actually beneficial, because anything given can be taken away just as quick.
100% agree with you. Shady, what do you think? You think this is going to happen? We just talked about the Dow Jones. Is the S&P 500 going to continue to go higher, as many are predicting?
I think it's a bold statement by all these banks to say that. I really do. I think that
Big banks, right? Big banks predicting big numbers.
That just leads me to question, like, why are they saying it? That's the one thing that sticks out of this. Like, why is everyone hitting 5,000 or 51?
Well, I mean, okay, so realistically, we're at 4,700. So that's like a 5% move from here.
Yeah.
It's not a huge move from here. So I don't think it's like a huge prediction, right?
So it'd be kind of considered lowballing, would it not?
Yeah, it's a safe prediction. I think it's a safe prediction. And realistically, it's still dangerous because they're predicting all-time highs. All of them are, which is kind of difficult to do. But based on the direction that the market's going in, based on the fact that there's going to be rate cuts next year, based on the fact that it's an election year, based on the fact that Bitcoin's halving, I mean, there's a lot of catalysts right now all at the same time. We got gold that just hit all-time highs. So there's a lot of good things happening in the market all at the same time. What we need to do as a community is take advantage of it, right? And we're going to talk about that a little bit because we've all been talking about crypto, especially, and how we can start taking advantage of the bull market in crypto, because we're clearly having a very big bull market in crypto as well. So what do you think about this, Blaze? Do you think we're going to see these numbers on the S&P 500 as these banks are predicting?
All right, sorry about my camera. We got like wind over here. It's real bad to watch.
Yeah, don't worry about it, buddy. We can hear you clearly.
Okay,
Perfect.
so basically, I believe that the pros are right on this one. Okay, I think things are going to get better. I've been talking to you about it in beams and stuff that I feel next year is going to do a lot of good things. I mean, this is just adding to the good news of what I believe what's going on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, yep. I think they're going to be spot on. I think Shady said a good point. I really didn't get to hit Earls and Ashes, but Shady made a good point. It could be undercutting it too, So to play it safe at that number, a lot of people will be happy at that number because it's a positive, right? So anything after that's a bonus. So I'd rather have them keep it lower on a prediction than higher because it's too much to, own up to. You know what I mean? So,
I agree 100%.
Yeah, so I really believe they got it right on this one.
Okay.
I have faith.
Nash Cowboy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I know you're in party land right now in Vegas. My question is, there's been many predictions, bold predictions by major banks saying that the S&P 500 is going to continue going higher. Do you think that they are correct in their prediction?
I do think there's going to be a dip, and I kind of feel like it could be a substantial dip, and then I think it will skyrocket after that. That's my personal opinion, just based off of history, the way things flow. As far as stock market goes, usually about every 10 years, there's a pretty substantial dip, and then it kind of weans back in, and then it fucking explodes. Oh, sorry, pardon my French. I'm getting ready for pandemonium, and I'm pumped. Got about 15 shots of tequila in me, so let's go.
Wow, 15 shots, you're a champion.
He just got a free panda.
All right, so this goes to my next question. So this is huge news for Bitcoin. I think this is very overlooked news, but in my opinion, this is massive news for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin rebounded this week above 41,000. It's now sitting at 42,000 with fair value accounting adoption. So essentially what fair value accounting adoption is it means that now these major institutions that are public companies that own Bitcoin on their balance sheet have to actually book Bitcoin on their balance sheet and they're going to get a fair value based on what the price of Bitcoin is at the moment of booking that asset. Previously, if you booked Bitcoin on your balance sheet, there was an impairment, which means they would reduce the amount of the value based on the fact that it wasn't considered a real commodity or a real asset yet. Now Bitcoin is being considered a real asset, a commodity, similar to gold, similar to oil, similar to real estate, and similar to stocks. So now if you're a company and you're public and you have $1 billion of Bitcoin, you can actually put that on your balance sheet and get that fair value of $1 billion on your balance sheet. I think this is going to be huge for Bitcoin, because what that means, in my opinion, is everyone in America that's a public company is going to start to buy Bitcoin, put it on its balance sheet so that they can say, hey, we got Bitcoin too. And if the price of Bitcoin continues to go up, then that's very bullish for all of those companies. They're going to copy MicroStrategy, because MicroStrategy's, all they do, their entire business model is buy Bitcoin. And the stock is, I believe the company's stock is up tremendously this year, let's say 400 to 500%. And the company's Bitcoin value at one time in the last week was over $2 billion in profit. And all the company does is buy Bitcoin. So my question to you is, what does this mean for Bitcoin, King Earl?
Well, I think right now we're sitting at 1.7 billion in profit over there on from when they bought now. So
Not
we're
bad.
looking good. Yeah, because it dropped back down from 44 to 41. So, you know, what
That's
we're looking
right.
at, you know, is with a fair market value, we're putting it to where the U.S. government wants the asset to be added to the books, where it can actually be valued and taxed. But why are they going to do that without regulating it? Right? Because now we're looking at the fact that Coinbase is having to sue the SEC for not clear-cutting transparency and not providing regulatory authority for anything with it. And so now we're looking at the government's wanting to take a chunk of tax money with it being on the books, and they always have. They just haven't found a way. But now that we're actually able to add it, it's going to be great news for Bitcoin. Number one, it's going to be great news for the markets. And then it's going to be great news for the U.S. government to tax the crap out of these companies. So, you know, it's great news all the way around, you know, especially if you're the government. But, you know, it is great news all the way.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's really good news. And Bitcoin did extremely well when the news broke. So that kind of gave us a little sense of how the market was digesting the news. And what do you think about this,
I think
Shady?
it's going to create acceptance. I mean, all the way around. I think that this just solidifies Bitcoin's permanence, especially like to the average person. You know, now that it's going to be accounted for, it's going to be taxed, it's going to be regulated. I mean, it just creates more, I guess, security behind it. Would be, I don't know if that'd be the correct word I'd put to it, but but I look at it and
Credibility. I think you're looking for the word credibility. I think it
yes,
adds
credibility.
credibility.
Sorry,
If you're an
it's been a long
investor,
day.
yeah, if you're an investor, I believe it adds a lot of credibility, right? Because it's like, oh, wow, this is now a real asset. If I have $1 million of Bitcoin, I can actually put on my balance sheet that I have $1 million asset, which means you'll be able to walk into a bank soon and be able to say, I have $1 million of Bitcoin and get a loan against your Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
and that's
coming
what I
next.
mean by the acceptance. You know, this is going to be accepted more by the banks. It's going to be accepted
Yep,
more by the average person. I mean, this is going to have a trickle effect. It's
that's
going
right.
to be a really great thing.
I believe so, 100%. What do you think, Blaze, about this? You think this is good for Bitcoin?
Oh, I think it's absolutely great. But you know what? You know what the thing is? It's about time that they're actually getting credit for an asset. You know, but they were always getting taxed on it because when you got to cash it out, right? You get taxed on it.
Yep.
So the benefits were all for the government in the beginning, but now people are playing it's little different. They're hiding things. So the government wants to be more transparent. Be like, okay, let's let you guys list it, right? Because now a lot of people are going to jump on that. And like Earl said, A, B, C, and D, and then Shady, because these guys hit it on the nose too. They're going to tax the hell out of them now. But the
There's
thing is, if you
there's
have an
always a hidden
asset,
agenda, right?
but if you have an asset that strong, you should be able to borrow against it.
100%.
So
And
when you
it's
borrow
better
against
if
it,
people borrow against Bitcoin because it means they're not selling.
Right. So when you borrow against it and you got to pay it back, there's some write-offs for you when they want to jack you in taxes. So either way you look at it,
Yeah.
there's always going to be a loophole for the person who owns the Bitcoin. I think it brings it up to the level of 75% with Bitcoin going into the halving, bring it to 90, the election. Yeah, good news all coming around the boards of 2024. Just think positive, guys. It'll happen.
What do you think, Nash Cowboy?
I think it's overall could be a good thing. I just worry about the way they're going to start taxing it. I'm not 100% sure on how all that works. I've never been a big stock guy, but I'm dabbling with it a little bit more into crypto. I think that overall it brings value to Bitcoin at least, and the whole crypto market because everything kind of follows Bitcoin. But because people will be holding. So, and like Blaze said, you know, and everybody else, when you can borrow against an asset like that, it brings more value to it and makes them want to hold it longer. And it kind of locks them into holding it longer if they're borrowing against it. So, it could be a very good thing. I don't like the government knowing too much of what I do, but you know, we know we're going there, so we got to ride it out however we can. I think this market in general is one of the best chances to make a lot of freaking money. And let's grab the bull by the horns and get her done.
I agree. I'm not missing out on this bull market, and I'm happy that we can all make money together in this market and share ideas. I mean, that's what the whole Rich TV Live community was built on, was sharing ideas and making money in real time. And that's exactly what we're doing. Now, that leads me to my next question. This is crazy, but it's possible. Now, I want to let everyone know, first and foremost, that Rich TV is strictly for information and education purposes. And past performance is not always an indication of future results. Don't go immediately and buy something just because we're talking about it. JP Morgan says Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin in 2024. Now, I own Bitcoin, full disclosure, and I own Ethereum. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it's possible that Bitcoin will outperform that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin in 2024? King Earl.
Well, I mean, we have to look at the fact that there's only 120 million Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
With all these chains having to do things, with all these NFTs being created on them, and then all the layers scaling operability and layer 3, Web 3, Web 4 coming soon. So we look, and with the Shanghai merger, we're looking at great things coming with the burns due to the gas rate of transactions, right? Because they implemented an actual burn mechanism within it where it would be deflationary along with inflationary. So it's not just inflating. So we're already down over 1 billion tokens that should be on the market, normally due to the capitulation of the miners during the bear market, right? So without that, we have a token that has the opportunity and the chance to outperform its past history by quite a bit. So even though it doesn't have a halving period, you know, we're looking at the fact that the new updates and upgrades from proof of work to proof of stake, we're looking at the fact that the token can soar now, right? So is this where we're going to give our prediction on the price on it or no?
You can, if you'd like to. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do that. So why don't you do that? Why don't we do this? I'd love everyone to let me know your prediction for and I'll give you my prediction for Bitcoin and Ethereum highs for 2024.
All right.
Why don't we do this? And I'm going to write this down, and then next year, when we do our show at this time next year, I'll say what the results were.
A low end or just a high end?
Just the high, and it doesn't have to stay there. Just how high do you think Bitcoin and Ethereum will go in 2024? So answer the question first, and then give us your predictions. So Earl, what do you think for Bitcoin and Ethereum?
All right, so on Ethereum, you know, we're going to be looking at the fact that we're going to be in a full blown bull market in 2024. We have the full burn rate going on. I'm looking every bit of $4,800 by the end of 2024 for Ethereum.
Nice.
And then on
Okay.
Bitcoin, I'm looking for 78,000 by the end of 2024.
78K.
And that's
All
without
right.
the
Well,
ETFs. But now with the ETFs that might come in, right, for onto the
Yeah.
Ethereum. So now we're looking at 6,200 and then also $87,000 once they're approved.
Well, I believe they're all going to be approved. So I think that that's just almost a gimme, because even Gary Gensler has changed his tune on it completely. And essentially there's 13 of them now looking to be approved all at the same time now on January 10th.
ARK's first,
So that's
though.
going to be crazy.
Kathy Woods, ARK's number one.
Yeah. So, hey, and Kathy Wood's having a monster year this year too with all of her picks. All right, Blaze, what do you think? Will Ethereum outdo Bitcoin next year? And what is your Ethereum and Bitcoin prediction for highs for 2024? Sorry, Shady.
Oh,
Shady.
I'm sorry. I thought you were saying Blaze.
Yeah, I did say Blaze. I
Okay.
apologize.
I think
Go ahead.
the Ethereum, I'm gonna say somewhere around 3,700.
Okay.
I think that's just a straight number. I think that's achievable. As
Yeah.
far as Bitcoin goes, because of what's going to happen in 2024, I'm really thinking 82,000. I think that's where
Woo.
it's going to go.
Let's go. 82,000. Let's go. Hey, man, I like you guys' predictions so far. And guys, I own Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'll be happy with these predictions so far. Blaze, what do you think? And so do you think that Ethereum will outdo Bitcoin next year? Shady?
No, I don't actually. I think that
Okay.
Bitcoin has a lot more going for it, especially with
Okay.
the ETF approvals.
Okay. Blaze, what are your predictions? And do you think Ethereum will outdo Bitcoin in 2024? Hey, Blaze, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's all good.
so basically, I'm having wicked bad communication problems. I just lost my video again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Okay.
perfectly.
All right. I personally think it's going to be a close run. Earl's real close. Shady put a little margin between there. I think that Bitcoin, I'm going to stick to my guns, can approach close to 90,000, maybe a little better by the end of next year, around this time.
Woo, 90K.
But if that's the case, I think Ethereum hits an ATH of $6,000, 6,200. Based off the history, I'm still thinking they both close to 3x. I mean, at the end of the day, I still think Ethereum has more possibility to triple up and Bitcoin to double up. But it don't necessarily mean outperforming it, because if they're both performing at that level, then I call it an equal run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you're investing into Bitcoin only, so the people in Bitcoin are going to be happy with a 2.5x, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people in Ethereum are going to be ecstatic about a 3x. I just think, with the amount of utilities that Ethereum has, it could go a little bit faster than Bitcoin. But Bitcoin does have a weapon, ordinals. Look out. That's all I can say.
I agree. And you've been right about ordinals, and congratulations on everything you've predicted on ordinals. You've been bang on.
And,
so is
and
Earl.
the guy that's sitting
You guys
on
have
the
been
right
bang
side
on
of you,
about almost everything, actually.
listen, the guy
All
that's
of you
sitting on the
guys.
right side of you right now, Mr. Earl, brought that token up to me a long time
That's
ago.
right.
Same.
And when he brought it up to me, I did nothing but stick on it. Like, I investigated it, studied it, and it was the only thing I was actually focused on during this whole run, besides another, little meme token, my ladies. But I mean, I was really focused on that. And then I kept on saying, when people said, what token? Good call. Earl found a gem, but I stuck with it, and I love the idea. So yeah, look out for ordinals, guys. That's all I can say.
Nash Cowboy, what do you think?
Are we talking 2024 or full blown 2025 peak?
2024, what's your prediction for Ethereum and Bitcoin? And will Ethereum outperform Bitcoin next year?
I think percentage wise, Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin as far as how many actually get off of it. That's just my own personal opinion. But I think I'm seeing Bitcoin around 85,000 and Ethereum up to 20K.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
and no, I don't think I'll see Ethereum at 20K in 2024. Sorry, like I said, I'm quite a few shots in. Probably 15K in 2024 at the peak of
So
2024.
85K for Bitcoin and 15K for Ethereum.
Yeah,
Okay.
percentage wise, full blown market. I'm seeing Ethereum more Xing than Bitcoin will. But I do think Bitcoin is gonna.
So
This,
next year
Yeah.
you're going with a
this,
7x
this,
Ethereum, a 2x Bitcoin.
this is the bull market to invest in. That's all I got to say about that. I am gonna have to go pregame now. I'm gonna have to cut my part of the show short because
Hey, thank you
everybody's
for joining us, buddy. From Vegas. I
everybody's
appreciate
ready. Love y'all. Peace out. Let's grab the bull by the
Much
horn.
love, brother.
it. Have fun in Vegas, buddy. And remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
It's
All
already
right.
leaked.
So I like you guys. I like you guys' predictions. I'm gonna go with 100,000 Bitcoin,
Ooh,
and I'm gonna go with a 10K Ethereum.
wow.
Yeah, because I believe that Bitcoin this year is up about 180%, and I think next year we're going to see it go up about another 180%. That'll take it to about 100K, and I think that Ethereum, if Bitcoin goes up to 100K, I think we're going to see Ethereum go up to 10K,
So you're giving Ethereum the edge on the
and I think Ethereum will go up more than Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Because I think they will approve Ethereum ETFs too.
yeah.
So I think once Bitcoin gets their ETFs approved, they'll have Ethereum ETFs. And the reason why I say that is they have Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs in Canada. So if they're going to approve Bitcoin, why wouldn't they approve Ethereum? It's already been done in Canada. I think it happens in the US. So those are my predictions, and I like your guys' predictions, and I think they're all really good predictions. And if any of us are right, we're all going to have a really good year next year. So that's the most important thing. All right. So let's get into the next topic here. So the next topic is, all right. The SEC continues meeting with Bitcoin ETF hopefuls. So we've talked about the Bitcoin ETFs. The SEC continues meeting with Bitcoin ETF hopefuls. What do you think about this? These meetings that we've been hearing about all week. I think it's a sign that this is about to get done. What do you guys think? Earl?
I'd like to be a fly on the wall in one of those rooms to hear how corrupt the government truly is. You know, because we already know that the federal government owns 22,000 Bitcoin, right? When can we tax them on what they hold, right? Are they
Exactly.
taking loans out on their Bitcoin through BlackRock already? And, are they going to plan on investing more money through these people? Are they trying to work out deals where they have to float into Fed now? Oh, what are you working on? What are you scheming on, U.S. government? We already know 300 FLs got done this year. But, we're looking at the fact that they're having to meet up to add clarity. The companies are having to already refile and refile and refile, especially BlackRock's done 3 refiles for the ETFs just this week. I'm wondering where the doxers are going to be at to actually go through what's been filed and see what's been changing. That will be nice, but most of the time the information won't get out until it's too late. But they don't want insider trading. But even though they do it, I hope this bill passes.
Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah. So I hope she drives by. I'm in San Francisco right now. But no, we're looking at the fact that with them meeting, it adds a stone setting that they're actually taking them serious, right? And they're having to relook at it, especially with federal judges talking to them about calling things securities when they're not. So I view it as a good stepping stone and a great future for the tokens. And we have to see where, you know, we know that deadline is approaching, you know, and there's going to be no pause and no pullback. I mean, we're dealing with the 12 biggest corporations in the world, you know, if not just the United States. You know, God bless JP Morgan and corrupt Chase over there. But, you know, it's just, it's a good thing, you know, that they're having these talks. But, you know, I'd like to see what's going on in the background as they continue funding cartels.
I love how you just throw those things in there. Shady, what do you think about this? This meetings, all week meetings. Gary Gensler having meetings with all these companies. Now, remember,
That's what-
there's already Bitcoin ETFs in America. Just so you guys know, there are already Bitcoin ETFs in America. I don't know why they're making this like it's not a. There's already Bitcoin ETFs in America, and there's Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs in Canada, and have been for like 2 years. So they're building this thing up to be a huge catalyst, and I think it's only going to help Bitcoin. I really do. What do you think about this, Shady? All these meetings that the SEC is having as we approach this deadline, which is like 20 days away now, where they have to approve the Bitcoin ETFs by January 10th. What do you think about this, Shady? Something shady going on, right?
Yeah, really. I mean, truly. The SEC's got its hands dipped in a lot of different places, and between them getting sued by Coinbase, and then on top of that, now we've got 3 out of these 4 companies who are meeting the week before BlackRock comes in. So BlackRock comes in a week later and then has 3 separate meetings. I kind of agree with Earl. I'd love to be a fly on the wall and just hear what they're talking about at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Blaze, what do you think about this?
So basically, between what all you guys are talking about, I agree with everybody. There's a lot of things that opened up like this just to get the public listening. You know, we know that there's already been for the past couple of years, right, tucked away somewhere. We know what the government holds, right, Earl? Because we study it, but the common person don't know. So they're going to bring this up and they're going to do things like this simply because they're going to want to get more people involved and more ears listening. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they're trying to make their investment jack up as well. You know what I mean?
Of course. I mean, they're all invested in Bitcoin. Come on.
It's all a show of face, really, isn't it?
We know they're all invested in Bitcoin. They're all these rich people in the know, and they're gonna miss out on the single greatest investment of our lifetimes. I don't think so. It's not how you get rich. You don't get rich by missing out on Bitcoin. All right, let's get into the next topic here. So the next topic here, the next topic here is U.S. securities regulators deny Coinbase petition for new crypto rules. Now, this is just dirty. I mean, I don't like the SEC at all, but now they're denying Coinbase, and the U.S. securities regulator denies Coinbase petition for new crypto rules. What's going on here, Earl? And Coinbase is suing them.
These shady mofos, okay? They keep suing every crypto exchange for not registering as a security, but doesn't give them a clear guidelines and rules for how to register as a security, and denies any registration form for them to file as a security rather than a public company, so that they can the government can have their freaking hands in it, right? And they just continue in the same process so they can continue to sue all these companies or shut them down at any time without giving them regulatory authority or regulatory approval for operation within the United States. Because then they have to admit that it's a freaking currency or an asset or a commodity, and it'd be taxable, which would line their pockets with freaking money the whole entire way. But they'd rather be able to have the power to shut it down from different outside influences flowing money into these coins and their nefarious acts, according to the freaking Jamie Dimon stupid guy. You had freaking Elizabeth Warren introducing a freaking bill last week or this week to shut down crypto.
Oh, I hate her. And I think she's worth like ridiculous amounts of money on a $200,000 salary? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, if she is so Native American as she claimed, you know, being a part of the tribe, wouldn't she want to give back to her people that fought and suffered so long, you know? But, you
I mean,
know,
I don't see anyone that's part of this government caring about giving anything back to anyone. All I feel like everyone wants to do in this government is take, take, take.
that's all they
I
want
mean,
to
we
do. If
see
you
it.
win,
That's all
they
they do is
take.
take, take, take.
And they wonder why crypto was originally created by Satoshi Nakamoto, right? And it was to be a currency, and it changed from that 4 years into the token actually being deployed, right? And now we're looking at this big thing that what it is, which is nothing more than a distribution of wealth and a great pump with money being able to be made, you know, potentially. You know, do your own research before investing into anything, as we said earlier. But, you know, the whole thing is you have to look where crypto is headed, right? And finances is one thing, technology is a completely, totally different thing. So they don't want to allow this technology out into the open sector where it might actually help the common day people have access to tools that could better them or better the world without being able to tax it or patent it or being able to slam any regulatory power on it. But they don't want to approve these securities as they are. Most of everything besides Bitcoin, let's just be straight about it, you know, and even Bitcoin if Nakamoto came back. But you know, they just don't want to allow the powers to have access, and it's just crazy. And I want to choke Gary Gensler and freaking Elizabeth Warren and a few others.
Shady. What do you think about this?
Oh.
You mentioned how Coinbase is suing the SEC. There's some shady stuff going on here.
I mean,
You know,
this is just blatant
like,
corruption at
there's
this
a
point.
lot
I
of
mean,
shady stuff going on. U.S. securities regulators denying Coinbase a petition for new crypto rules. What is this?
it's ridiculous, is what it is. I mean, they've been doing this all year long. They've been showing their hand right in front of our face. I mean, this just shows there's a level of corruption involved in the SEC. The SEC needs to be disbanded.
Of course, Gary Gensler
Yeah.
said this week that the only reason why they're even thinking about approving the Bitcoin ETFs is because the what was it? The judge said so. Those were his words. He's
Yep.
like, the judge said it's okay. So if the government and the judge are ruling it's okay, then it's got to be okay. I was like, what?
I just think at this point,
Like
the
it has
SEC,
to go to a judge?
yeah,
Like what? Like we need to get the government involved to make rulings because the SEC is not doing their job. The Securities and Exchange Commission's job is to protect investors. That's their job. It's not to hold shit back. They're holding things back. There's people in government, there's people in the SEC that are all confused as to why these Bitcoin ETFs haven't been approved in the first place.
yep.
Because, like I told you guys, they were all approved in Canada. So there's obviously something weird going on here, right?
I mean, absolutely. I just, I look at the SEC and I'm like, either this needs to be disbanded or
Yeah.
they need to be regulated.
Yes, and Trump has already said he's going to destroy the SEC.
Yep. And that is why
He's
I'm
already
voting
said
for him.
that, right? He's already said he's going to dismantle the SEC, which is what I believe needs to happen. It's just getting worse and worse and worse.
It goes back to Murdoch, the whole Ponzi
crazy.
scheme.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that have happened with the SEC, including the things that happened with JP Morgan. And
Yeah.
it's just blatant corruption. They don't even hide it anymore. They put it right in front of your face because they think that you're too stupid to know what's going on or too powerless.
And most people are too stupid to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's because they have designed the
They
media
are.
the way they have to make it confusing, not to be average language, and to discuss it. Like you don't see a lot of people discussing this at a coffee shop anymore. There's a lot that's changed especially like over the last 4 to 5 years. But going back to the SEC, I just think that someone needs to go in and clean house. I'm sure that there are some really good people in there, but they're being overpowered by these corrupt individuals.
Yes. I agree with you 100%. Blaze, what do you think about this?
Repeat that, Rich. He broke up.
So, US securities regulators have been denying Coinbase a petition for new crypto rules. And because of this, Coinbase has sued the SEC. What do you think's going on with the SEC? They're blocking everything from just flowing
Oh,
in
okay.
the crypto world.
Yeah, I heard that quite. Oh, okay. But the problem with this is, bro, is that they're fishing again. Okay, they're fishing for a disturbance because they can do it.
Yep.
What the SEC needs to be done, what needs to be done with that is kind of what happened to X. When Elon got there, he cleaned everybody out. Okay,
Yes.
you have to.
Yes.
You have to. When a business does that bad, it has that bad a track record in court. By the way, wasting taxpayers' money, right? When they have a track record that bad, just like the Chargers did the other night, getting beat by the Raiders, you got to fire the lead, right? You got to start with the lead, get new blood in there, and go right down, all the way down to the janitor. I don't care. You have to revamp the system because they are doing nothing but making fools of themselves. They're supposed to be put here to protect us. Instead, they're a thorn in our ass. So when you're doing the opposite of the job that you're actually supposed to be doing, we got to start over. And Donald Trump will do it. He will rip it apart. He'll come out with the finger. You're fired. You're fired. And you're fired. Just like that. End of story. So they're fishing for more, disruptions on good news. Every time there's good news, SEC, you gotta wait. Couple days later, they're gonna come up with a negative because there's too much positive going on in our lives. They have to go and throw a negative in it. When in return, with all the negatives coming in our life, they're supposed to be the ones that put a positive in there and gets us, fair share of things. They're doing it the opposite of what they came here for. So it's a horrible organization, and they're a fraud in my book.
Their job is to protect investors. I just don't see how they're doing that.
They're
Now,
not doing it. They're way off on doing it. They're hurting investors.
of course, what they're doing is they're making people afraid of investing in Bitcoin. And then investors are missing out on the opportunity of making 200% on their money because anyone who invested in Bitcoin was at 16,000 has made 150 to 180% on Bitcoin this year.
Rich, you know what they remind me of? That kid that always want to be right. No matter what, they're going to find something. I don't care. You caught me 9 times I was wrong, but one of these days I'm eventually going to be right. They're on that. That's a desperate move, bro. When a company's
Well,
on
look
a
what
desperate
happened. They
move,
made $4 billion with Binance, so they were right. So it covers all the mistakes and all the losses
Right.
and all the legal losses of all the other ones they were wrong on. Because if you get right on one, which they were right with Binance, they got paid $4 billion on that one fine.
yeah, but what did
So,
they
I mean,
what
that's
did they
kind of
do
how
with
they
the $4
operate.
billion? What did they do with that?
Yeah, they probably just throw it back into, trying to find more bad guys.
It's a
Well,
legalized
that's the problem.
scam, is what
That's
it
the
is.
problem. They were right about Binance.
Trying to find more bad actors, as they call
But listen,
them.
they
them
were
bad
right
actors.
about Binance. They took the $4 billion, but all the investors didn't get a dime of it.
That's right.
Oh,
This is what happens, right?
But
Same thing happened with FTX.
So
Everybody
they're
lost
right.
everything.
Their right to us is actually a wrong.
Exactly. They're supposed to be helping investors. They're supposed to be giving investors their money back. They're supposed to be helping investors get whole. And I just rarely ever see that happen.
All we ever
I
see
can
All right,
is
let's
describe
get
it.
into
scam.
our
I can
last
describe it
couple-
real quick. It's nothing but a clown show over there.
Yep.
100%. Now, speaking of clown shows, we have another meme coin that is on fire. It's the Bonk coin. So I want to know, what do you guys think about this? Meme mania is starting again. Bonk seems like one of the first coins this year. There was Pepe and My Ladies. Now there's Bonk. What do you guys think about Bonk? Are you going to buy it? Did you buy it? I know Chris did extremely well on it. Are you guys, I know some of you may have been getting involved. What do you think about this? Are you into meme coins this year? Are you going to be getting into Bonk and other meme coins? What do you think about the meme mania starting in 2023 and going into 2024? King Earl.
Let's get rich.
Hey, I'm with you, man.
You
I'm
know,
down. Let's go.
with what y'all were just talking about, I mean, it goes directly into this. Like, people can't get early access to these freaking tokens because there's only 7 crypto exchanges regulated to actually operate here in the U.S., whether they even have the regulatory power to operate here in the U.S., right? And most of these tokens aren't even available on it, And so we're stuck down to just finite opportunities to get into tokens. And so most of the US couldn't even get into Bonk in the early stages, unless they had to work through it and figure out some way to do it. But, it's just they make things so hard. But, the moment it gets listed on the exchanges, it just cuts off and stops, even though they know there's huge opportunities once it hits Binance. And they hit Binance, and then they just stop because they know the open public, it's going to be too easy for them to make money. So the big investors yank their money out, let the market and floor set back up, and then they wait on everybody just to give it away and then move on to another project. So, I bought Bonk. I actually got a little bit of early access to it, like 6 hours before it got listed on the exchange. But then, I made a little bit of money and pulled out already. And the other meme coins, I've already made money and pulled out on another one today. And
Nice.
I was just looking at crypto just now, and I found not a meme coin, but another token I'm looking at seriously right now. But, as far as other tokens, as far as memes, we're looking at the fact that you have Doge and Shiba on Ethereum. You have Corgi AI on crypto.com. That's done well. You have Bonk on Solana, which is the first crypto over there. And now Cardano is coming out with their own meme coin. And I'm going to let everybody in the public just do their own active research into getting into that because it's risky. But, if you find a way to get into that, message me. My link will be in the description at the bottom of the video. But the whole thing is that, it's just hard for us to get into them. And it's crazy. When I can find a token, I just can't get into it. I just can't get into it.
Yeah, that's a big part of crypto, right? Is having that know-how. And sometimes even when you have the know-how, it's still difficult to get into some of these coins. All right, Shady, what do you think about this? Are you going to get into Bonk? Are you into meme coins? Are you excited about, the meme mania that can potentially turn small amounts of money into large amounts of money? What are you thinking about Bonk?
I don't really know that much about Bonk. It's a very new one to me. So I haven't
But the way
haven't really
meme coins
formed an
go,
opinion yet.
the way meme coins go, Shady, just so you know, is they're here today. They shoot, and it could be a week, could be a month, could be a year, but like they shoot, and then the kind of hype dies, and then it's like you move on to the next coin, right? That's kind of what it's been. So it's not one of those things where you can sit on the sidelines and wait, because with a meme coin, by the time you wait, you've kind of missed it.
Okay.
Just so you know, like it's like you got to get, like as soon as you hear about a meme coin, you got to get in right now, and then as soon as it shoots, you got to get out, because as quickly as it goes up, it can quickly go down. And there's been meme coins that have run for a while, like Shiba ran for months last year, or on the last bull market. Doge ran for months, but it seems as though during this bull market, it's been more like a week or a couple days, and then they die off. So things change, right? So it's very difficult to predict, but just letting you know that if you do want to get into a meme, you kind of got to do it right away, because if you don't, you're probably going to miss it.
Okay. Yeah.
You just got to kind of treat it like that. Whereas like with Bitcoin, it's always going to be there. Whereas like a meme, it's like if you miss that bus, you're not going to get a second chance.
Gotcha. Okay.
Blaze, what do you think about this? You thinking about Bonk at all? I haven't got into Bonk. Full disclosure, I don't
think
own
about
Bonk.
Bonk, right?
I missed it.
At one
I feel like I
point,
missed
Shiba and Dogecoin were in the 90s of billions of dollars, right?
it. Yeah.
Bonk
Insane.
is the third meme token to eclipse that billion mark. It's at 2 billion almost, right? So they're
Crazy.
the third biggest meme token out there, following the two other dogs, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now they're actually being sold on Coinbase and crypto.com, right? So
Yes.
with that being said, it's a good investment for me.
Okay.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
And things like that, I don't sleep on it. Like I didn't sleep on Ordinals. I will not sleep on this. And I'll tell you right now, I'll throw a little tidbit out. Keep your eye on that My Ladies about ready to hit all-time high again. So, I mean, at the end of the day, some tokens do die out and disappear, but some hang on to the right time.
Yeah, and Bonk is just being listed on like just got listed on a Canadian exchange too. Like all these exchanges are realizing that when there's a hot coin, you just got to get it. You got to do whatever it takes to get it, to get the customer's money.
Big fan.
Right? This is kind of what's happening. So it's like a race to get it listed, right? And we've all got a coin that we're talking about, and there's a few other coins we're not going to mention right now because I want to buy it first. So once I buy it, then I'll mention it. But there's some other coins that we've got, guys, that we're planning to make some big money on in 2024. But we're not going to talk about it here because we're going to all buy it first. And then once we buy it, then we'll let you guys know at home. Okay,
It's
so
all over
last
the
topic.
place.
But-
The last topic before we say goodbye is Alex Jones has been restored on X. So Alex Jones, very controversial, conspiracy theorist, been kicked off every single platform, but Elon Musk decided I'm bringing him back. So this is the last question. Earl, do you think this is a good move by Elon Musk to bring back Alex Jones?
I believe it's a great thing for him to do, and Elon Musk said that he is willing to go to prison to preserve the freedom of speech here in the United States, and every man, woman, and child should be willing to do the same, and not only go to prison, but to murder and kill for it. Because it's one of the God-given rights that we have, and any tyrannical government that thinks they can overstep and overbound, or any loose-footed liberal snowflake that thinks that they can melt into my footway, no. My freedom of speech I preserve along with my gun rights, okay? Don't tread on me. And it's a great thing that Elon Musk has seen the light and is trying to provide the opportunities for the world to speak, no matter whether it's secondhand or whether it has a drawback or a secondary thing behind the reasons why he's letting it be done, as some conspiracy theorists in here think. But, it's just a great opportunity for the public to meet. And, it's great. I enjoy the platform, and I find many funny things on it. I'm just starting to get a little more involved on Twitter a little bit. But as far as onto the last subject, a little bit more. But I bet Shiba Inu right now is trying to figure out what happened to Bonk with all their money when they were supposed to have $1 million burn, and they only burnt $89,000 worth today, 3 days later, out of that $1 million they were supposed to burn. And they've been talking crap. No, Shiba. And they've been talking crap to the public in the Telegram groups, and mistreating their investors and talking crap about them, telling them quit being whiny babies. So, now their foot can go where their mouth is, and they can figure it out. Just saying.
Okay. All right. See, I didn't know that. That's why I love doing these shows. I'm learning every day myself. Shady, what do you think about this? Alex Jones, biggest conspiracy theorist on the planet, has been removed off every single social media platform, including X, and Elon has brought him back to life on X. He's posting every day. Do you think this is good for X? Do you think it's good for the world to have Alex Jones giving his opinion on what's happening in the world? He's been right about a lot of things. He's been right about a lot of things that they've said that he has been wrong on. So what do you think about it?
Well, we very rarely in history see great men. And when I look at Elon Musk and look at what he's doing with this Alex Jones situation, seeing someone who is standing up for more than just one person, standing up for the United States in general as a whole. We should be thanking God for two people right now, and that's Musk and Trump. People that genuinely want to give back. Everything Elon has ever touched has been beneficial for humankind and also for the environment. I think that by him allowing Alex Jones to come on is going to stop some of this cancel culture. This cancel culture crap has got to go. Like, it's just got to go at this point. If you don't like what I say, that goes back to the saying when you were a kid, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I mean, we cannot be continuing to be behind people that are making us soft Americans. And I think that Elon Musk is the perfect patriotic symbol of what we should be doing and should be acting like. I just personally, I'm fully behind this man. We may not agree on everything Elon does or Trump does, but when they do more good than harm, how can you not be behind someone like that, especially in the significance of amount of good both have done?
I agree with you 100%. Blaze, what do you think about this?
I think it's great. Freedom of speech. Isn't that what
That's
we were
right.
taught? Isn't
I
that
mean,
one
we
of
should
our
all be able to
amendments?
say what we want,
I
right?
mean, like freedom of speech. Like I can't have an opinion. Oh, take them off every social media. Elon's like, well, I got to back up what X does. We let people talk. Freedom of speech. He's the biggest candidate for freedom of speech for that website. So it worked for Elon and it worked for him. So at the end of the day, I like the move. I like everything Elon does. I don't care. He screws up sometimes. It don't matter. But at the end of the day, if you want to be a billionaire, you need to study that man's moves.
He's brought back Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is like
Correct.
killing it on X. He's brought back Alex Jones. He's brought back Andrew Tate. So he's bringing the people back that nobody else wants. And I believe it's going to work for him. because if
Exclusive
you look
only
at-
on X. Exclusive
That's right.
only
And if
on
you
X.
look at all of those people, they're blowing up and making more money now than they were before and advertisers are going to realize, okay, if I want a piece of Tucker Carlson, if I want a piece of Alex Jones, if I want a piece of Andrew Tate, I got to go on X and I have to spend the advertising dollar. So I believe all those advertising dollars are going to go back to X because of the fact that it's freedom of speech, because of the fact that they're growing so quickly, and advertisers are going to realize really quickly, if I want to get eyeballs on my product, I need to advertise on X because people are on X.
That's why.
Watching Alex Jones.
That's why
watching
he told.
Tucker Carlson,
That's why.
watching Andrew Tate.
That's why
Whoa.
he told those to F off and some that
Yep.
left, and it just opened up more doors for bigger companies that are going to
That's it.
want to fight over the spot, because with him bringing back all these conspirators and everything like that, and big mouths, that's basically what they are. It's bringing content to the platform. Okay.
That's right.
When you get content like that, your viewers go up, way up. So
100%
more
they do.
people join, more people are going to go exclusive. So look, he was backing up freedom of speech, but come on, guys, he's a multi-billionaire because he's a great businessman. It was a hell of a business move.
Tucker Carlson used to get 3 million viewers on Fox. Now his videos get hundreds of millions of views.
Right.
It's a no-brainer.
Because
Like,
you
it's been
actually have a
great move for
proper
him.
tracker online. You have a proper tracker. So he was
That's
getting
right.
paid according to what they were giving him numbers and giving him his pay scale. But now he goes over to X and he's got 20 X's on this. Like he's
Well, not just that. Fox is really only being watched by Americans.
right.
Now he's on the internet for the whole world to watch.
But better numbers simply because everybody wants to know what's going on in America. What are
That's
them
right.
clowns doing over there again? So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's, we're the talk of the world, United States of America. When you want to proclaim yourself to be number one country in the world and always say the most powerful country in the world, you are always going to be looked at more. So we need to step up, people, because our government's making us look dumb.
Well, on that note, guys, we've been live for an hour and 8 minutes. I want to say goodbye. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. I won't be talking to you guys until after the holidays, except for Blaze. We'll be doing a one-on-one next week. And then we'll be back to our normal programming after the holidays or after Christmas, where we'll be back to doing our normal show. So before I say goodbye, I just want to give you guys all the floor. Does anyone want to share anything else before we say goodbye? We'll start with you, King Earl.
God bless America. God bless freedom of speech. And hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, of course, because we won't be seeing y'all next week. But continue to be vigilant, do your research, pay attention to these companies pulling their advertisement from any place that is willing to shut down your freedom of speech. Memorize them, memorize the people in charge, document it in history, and don't let them get away with it. But then secondarily, look at what comes from it and what will be. Don't let people trample on your freedoms and rights because, some of us served in the military just to fight for those rights for y'all to have, and they're not won for free. So God bless each one of y'all and have a good night.
And Earl, thank you for your service in the military. I also want to let everyone know that I will have a description to all of my co-hosts in the description of this video. So you can go and follow Earl. You can go and follow Shady and follow Blaze. and I'll have a link to their YouTube channels. Please go and follow them all. Okay. And Shady, anything else you want to say before we say goodbye, my friend?
I just want to say Merry Christmas. Don't drink and drive, please, over the holidays. And just keep safe and keep your head straight. And hopefully we'll get through all of this crap that we've been dealing with.
Hey, 100%. And Blaze, anything you want to share with the audience before we say goodbye?
Yeah, everybody take a moment, right, and go back and refer to your Bill of Rights, refer to your amendments, refer to the first 10, study them real good, really good, because a lot of people in this country don't even know what the Third Amendment is. So you need to focus on your rights, guys. All right. So have a safe holiday. Love your family. Hold them close. Don't take nothing for granted. Salute. Happy New Year.
Thank you, guys. And I wish you guys all a Merry Christmas. And thank you for joining me again on the show. For everyone that's watching, if you're not winning, you're probably not watching. We bring you the winners, CEO interviews, breaking news, trending topics, engaging shows, and we bring them to you first. Thank you for watching the Bull and Bear Show. This is episode number 30. Go and follow my co-host in the description of this video and have yourselves a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and have a great day. Thank you for watching, guys. Guys, enjoy your day. Thank you for joining me. I'm out. Peace.